This is a second stimulus check update. The deadline for the stimulus package is just 3 days away. Many congressmen are saying that progress is being made and that a deal will be reached by Friday. One congresswoman said that it was a Christmas miracle from what happened yesterday in regards to stimulus. I'll let you know what was said about that. I'll play you the clip from the Mitt Romney interview about the progress being made towards the stimulus. I'll give you the update on the $600 and $1,200 stimulus checks. Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin spoke on the phone again yesterday about the omnibus as well as the stimulus deals. I'll let you know what was said about that. And the new COVID vaccine has officially been administered in the US yesterday, and I'll let you know where and when you could find the new COVID vaccine at your local drugstore. I hope you're having a great day so far. Quick reminder, I'm giving out $200 checks to my subscribers. Details to that down in the description below. So momentum is growing day by day on Capitol Hill for the upcoming relief package. The new bipartisan bill has just split into 2 different bills. I'll give you the details of how it was split, and one senator is actually calling it a Christmas miracle. Before we get into that, I want to play this clip by the White House Press Secretary Kelly McEnany talking about the stimulus, so here's that clip right now.
With the relief bill that's coming up, you know there's $6 billion set aside to help with the vaccination distribution. My goodness, Congress, come on. Is the president going to have to go over to Capitol Hill to get this thing moving?
Look, we want to see this get done. And, I talked with the chief of staff about this morning. And, he said Nancy Pelosi, unfortunately, is putting the interests of trial lawyers first here because, look, these trial lawyers are the ones who are going to go after small businesses who that's the last thing they need is as they're trying to weather through COVID is all of this litigation and liability on their hands. And she's prioritizing the interests of trial lawyers, unfortunately, over that of the American people. And we also want the money to go directly to the American people in forms of direct payment checks, not siphoned through state and local governments where it never really sees the light of day. So that's our priority. But come on, Nancy Pelosi, come get serious and negotiate with us. That's what we're asking for.
Yeah, and we can look at this in a bipartisan manner too. It takes 2 sides of the bicameral chamber to talk about these things. Maybe they can use their powers of persuasion to get us going forth because the vaccine is rolling. And they're going to need that money to distribute it.
Kelly McEnany is blaming Nancy Pelosi for not going along with the new Republican stimulus bill, which is offering that $600 stimulus check. But before we get into that, let's talk about the bipartisan bill split. So this bill split into 2 parts, and Susan Collins is saying that we've had a Christmas miracle occur in Washington. I want to thank my Democratic and Republican colleagues in the Senate for working so hard to bring us to this day. I don't think we should count our chickens before the eggs hatch. She's getting all excited over this bill split, but still there is no action being taken for a bill to actually pass. It's been several months that we've had deadlines saying that a stimulus bill is about to pass, we're about to get stimulus checks, and then it doesn't. So to call this a Christmas miracle, I think is false. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. Is this a Christmas miracle or a Christmas non-miracle and just business as usual in Congress? So this bill is being split into 2 separate bills. So from $908 billion, now it's being split into $748 billion, and then it's being split into $160 billion, which is going to have the liability protections for businesses, as well as money for state and local governments. So the way that this bill is being split with the $748 billion, the big takeaway here is the $300 per week for 4 months in unemployment assistance. If you want, you could pause the screen right here. Here's the breakdown of everything. Another big takeaway here is the emergency rental assistance, as well as the eviction moratorium extension through January 31st. Now, you may notice the one thing that this bill does not include are $1,200 stimulus checks. So for whatever reason, they're still not containing the $1,200 stimulus checks. But there are 2 senators who are still promoting the idea of $1,200 stimulus checks, Senator Josh Hawley, as well as Senator Bernie Sanders. So Bernie Sanders is saying that the Democrats should reject this bipartisan bill. He says that it is totally inadequate and said that what kind of negotiation is it when you go from $3.4 trillion to $188 billion in new money? That's not a negotiation. That is a collapse. Here's a clip from Bernie Sanders' Twitter account last night that he posted out about the $1,200 stimulus check. Here's that clip right now.
As everybody knows, as a result of this terrible, terrible pandemic, tens of millions of Americans are facing economic desperation. These are people who cannot afford to pay their rent. They owe thousands and thousands of dollars in back rent, and they face eviction. We're looking at millions of people who cannot afford to go to the doctor in the middle of the worst public health crisis in modern American history. We're looking at families all across this country who do not have the money to adequately feed their children. And hunger in America today is at the highest level that we have seen in decades. And all over this country, working people are going deeper and deeper into debt. And the point that I'm going to be making this week in the Senate is that Congress cannot go home for the Christmas holidays until we pass legislation which addresses, or at least begins to address, the terrible economic desperation faced by so many working families in this country. And that any legislation that Congress passes must include, at the very least, a $1,200 direct payment to working class adults, individuals $75,000 or lower, couples $150,000 or lower, and also a $500 payment for their kids. So I hope that you will join me in demanding that the Senate and the House have the courage to do the right thing. And that must mean direct payments to working families all over this country who are struggling to maintain their dignity and to provide decently for their kids. Let's go forward together and let's make sure that the Congress does the right thing.
Let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. Should more people be on board with Bernie Sanders and more outspoken about this $1,200 stimulus check? I think he lays out all the problems of why we need a $1,200 stimulus check. And to any person like you and me, it seems like common sense to just give out a $1,200 stimulus checks to help out all of the people who are suffering in America. A few other senators weighed in on the progress. So Senator John Thune said it's getting close. It includes a lot of things in our package, and number-wise, it's less than it was last week. It's trending in the right direction. Then Senator Pat Murray, Democrat, says, words matter and I want to see what's in it. Then a Democrat Senator Dick Durbin says, weeks have passed, hours and hours of Zoom calls, and we've reached this point. It feels good. It feels like legislating. It feels like why we were elected. Again, let's not get too excited and give false hope when nothing has happened. There's still no action being taken. Here's a clip from Mitt Romney about the progress being made in regards to the upcoming stimulus. He is for the bipartisan stimulus bill. Here's that clip right now.
Senator, we've been hearing about some sort of compromise for a while, but only hearing. It's been all talk. Does this thing have a chance?
Yeah, I think it does. Actually, you're seeing a number of people come forward with support. We've got basically 12 Republicans and Democrats that came together to fashion this proposal. We've got 50 members of the House that are behind it. And, of course, the leader, McConnell, and the White House have also said it's got some good merit. So we're hoping that either in total or in pieces, this will get passed and help will get to people that need it very badly.
But neither Mitch McConnell nor Nancy Pelosi, for that matter, have agreed to bring it up for a vote. Are you confident that they will?
Well, not yet, but I think it's been pretty clear. Mitch McConnell has said we need to get something done before the end of the year. We have people that are going to lose their unemployment insurance the day after Christmas. And to keep that from happening is a high priority. We want help also for people that need mental health facilities. We need help for small businesses desperately. We got a lot of businesses just hanging on. So this is another round of PPP grants and loans to small businesses. This is money that needs to get out right away.
Senator, the frustration has been enormous across this nation. Why has this taken so long?
Well, you know, on one hand, you had Speaker Pelosi say that it was $2 trillion or nothing. And on the other hand, you saw Republicans. We came forward with a bill that was $500 billion. And so we were just miles apart. And at a dinner with, well, I guess there were 8 of us, at Lisa Murkowski's home, we said, let's see if we can't come up with something we can all agree on. And that group grew, became a little larger. We put together a bill. We agree on it. We think it's important to get this passed before the year is over.
What about direct payments? That's not in here. You've said that there are other more pressing matters. But you can't tell that to people who can't make the rent and can't buy the food.
Well, the good news is the people who can't make the rent get rental assistance into this bill. There's also tens of billions of dollars going into food assistance, food stamps, food banks, and so forth. So people who can't make the rent, people who don't have money for food are going to get help. We're also going to extend unemployment insurance at $300 a week on top of the state provision. So additional funds to those that are unemployed. The key, of course, is let's keep the cost of this from becoming backbreaking and adding huge debt to our national balance sheet, and sending checks to people who don't need it. I know it's popular for people who like checks, but sending checks to people that don't need it doesn't strike us as high a priority as getting checks to people that are unemployed and who can't pay the rent and are looking for food.
Yesterday, Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin spoke on the phone again. This is the second day in a row, so they spoke at 5:30 p.m. for 22 minutes. I would read you exactly what they spoke about, but honestly, there isn't much progress being made. I think this little GIF down here represents it all. Basically, in other words, nothing happened again. So there hasn't really been much said, or at least publicly announced, between their conversations, unfortunately. A lot of people are saying that Nancy Pelosi is the reason. So Jacqueline Arredondo commented on my video yesterday saying the real screw up is Pelosi, followed by Congress. So much for having a decent holiday. Let me know, who do you think? Is Nancy Pelosi to blame for this? Let me know down in the comments below. Some people are saying that the COVID stimulus bill is held hostage by Mitch McConnell. So it seems like Mitch McConnell or Nancy Pelosi are the two villains in this situation in regards to withholding stimulus or holding it hostage for the American people. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. Is it Nancy Pelosi or Mitch McConnell, or just everyone involved who's getting that $174,000 salary in Congress? Moving on to COVID news, yesterday we had about 201,000 cases, and yesterday also was the very first day that the vaccines were given. So an ICU nurse in New York was actually the first person to get the coronavirus vaccine. My wife, she's a nurse. We live here in South Carolina, and at her hospital, they're actually administering the vaccine on Thursday morning, 7:30 a.m. Of course, it's free for all the healthcare workers. They just sign up and they could take the vaccine. It's just for first liners, so nurses, doctors, as well as student nurses and students who are exposed to patients. They all have access to the vaccine, which is starting on Thursday. Now, if you're wondering when is the vaccine going to be public and when you could find it at your neighborhood drugstore, so Walgreens and CVS, sorry for the screen shaking, I'm not sure why it's doing that. Walgreens and CVS said that you could expect the COVID vaccine shots in their stores early spring. So that is all the stimulus news I have for you today. To cheer up your mood a little bit, here is my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is a tip of the day. I want to tell you one of my favorite secrets. Adults don't know everything. You know, so I don't too. I know I'm really smart, but I don't really know as much things. You don't know as much things, but we're all gonna learn. I promise. If you keep on working every day, I can, and we all can, and we can all be really smart. And we can all be really smart.
And if you want to keep the positive vibes going, I highly recommend you click this video over here. It's on my Wise Vibes channel. It's Les Brown teaching you it's not over until you win, how to stay motivated. If you ever feel like giving up, how to stay in the right mindset, how to be positive when there's so much negativity going on around you. Click that video now and get in a better mood now. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.